Hello everyone, I'm the Saxy Gamer. Today we're here for the first of the Civilization 6 Rise and Fall New Leader Spotlights, where today we'll be taking a look at Wilhelmina of the Netherlands. So Wilhelmina's unique ability is Radio Oranje, and what that ability does is it makes it so that your trade routes to and from your own cities provide +1 identity per turn for the starting city, and all that an identity does is it provides loyalty for the city. Additionally, trade routes to and from foreign cities provide +1 culture for you. So I think that's going to be a pretty decent leader ability, because the extra culture is going to make it so that you can speed through your civic research nice and fast. And additionally, like, you don't even have to send some of the trade routes because the foreign trade routes to you give you +1 culture as well. So that's going to be quite nice. And additionally, if someone's trying to be super aggressive with their loyalty and they're trying to flip your cities, you can utilize those internal trade routes to make sure that you keep your own cities. So I think that's going to be a pretty good leader ability. The civilization ability for the Dutch is Rote Rivieren, which provides a major adjacency bonus for campuses, theater squares, and industrial zones if they are adjacent to a river. In addition to that, harbors, upon completing construction, will culture bomb the adjacent tiles. I think that's going to be a very strong civilization ability, just because it's going to allow you to get those higher yields from your adjacency bonuses on your campus and theater squares, so it'll speed up your research of technologies and civics, and with the industrial zones, you can just construct things that much faster, so I think that's going to be very nice. In addition, the culture bomb from the harbor is going to kind of synergize with her ability to create polders, so I think this is going to be a very nice civilization ability. So the unique unit for the Dutch is known as the Zeven Provincien, and it is a special unit that replaces the frigate, so therefore it is unlocked with square rigging, and the specialties of this unit, it has 60 range strength and 50 melee strength, which are both up +5 from frigate, so that's a pretty decent upgrade from a normal frigate. In addition to this, it gains +7 combat strength when attacking defensible districts. So a defensible district would be something like a city center or an encampment. So I think this is going to be a very, very strong unit. It's going to be kind of similar to the Ship of the Line from Civ 5 that England had. It's going to be very good in that mid-game, like right whenever big navies actually start to become a thing. It's going to be super good for attacking coastal cities because of that +7 combat strength when attacking defensible districts, and I think it's going to be just a wonderful unit to have in your navy. As far as unique tile improvements for the Dutch go, they have the polder, which I must say looks quite fantastic with the colors that they chose for it. And what the polder does is it is a unique tile improvement that must be built on a coast adjacent to 3 or more flatland tiles. So note that you can't build it next to hills unless you, of course, also have 3 adjacent flatland tiles. And what the polder provides is +1 food, +1 production, and +0.5 housing. Additionally, it gets +1 food from adjacent polders, and this rises to +2 with replaceable parts. And speaking of this, as you can see, as you progress into the game, the polder goes from like this kind of just a field to this lovely thing with a bunch of flowers, and it looks super colorful, and I love the design of it. So whenever you get replaceable parts, as I said, you get that +1 additional food from your adjacent polders, and also upon researching civil engineering, you get +4 gold. I think the polder is going to be an extremely strong tile improvement. It's going to be kind of similar to Kampungs that Indonesia has, except a little bit different because you get the gold, and you also get the nice adjacency bonus from other polders. So I think it's going to be a very strong tile improvement, especially if you get a good spawn that allows you to build a lot of them right next to each other. So I think this is going to be very strong for the Netherlands. With all of this information in mind, it's time to start looking at some of the strengths and weaknesses of the Dutch Empire, the Dutch civilization, and Wilhelmina. So I think the first strength that comes to mind when I think about Wilhelmina is that she's very well-rounded due to these adjacency bonuses, because with these adjacency bonuses, that allows you to play either like a strong culture game, you can play a strong science game, you can get that production up to build wonders, you can do any number of things. You can get the production up to build units. So I think that she's a very well-rounded civ that's capable of going for most victories. Along the lines of the strengths and, getting those multiple victories, I think that her special unit is very strong, which allows her to play a good domination game. It allows her to take control of other land that she wouldn't normally be able to get. So I think that's another major strength of the Dutch in Civilization 6. As far as weaknesses go, I think that the only weakness I can think of is that the Dutch are not really specialized for any specific victory. I mean, sure, they have stuff that makes them a little bit better in science, a little bit better in culture, a little bit better in domination, but they don't have something that makes them, like, top tier in any of those categories, really. But regardless of that, I still do think that they are going to be a very nice and strong civilization, and definitely a nice addition to Civilization 6. And the last thing that we're going to talk about today is tier ranking. So as I do this series, I'm going to give each civilization a tier ranking in domination, culture, science, religion, and just kind of an overall quality tier ranking. These are going to go from S to F, where obviously S tier is the highest and F is terrible. I don't think any civilization's actually going to really deserve an F, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and rank Wilhelmina. So first off, domination. I think Wilhelmina deserves a B in domination, just because her special frigate is a really strong unit. It's going to make her incredibly powerful in the mid-game. She can go and take coastal cities, and she's going to be really good at taking coastal cities because of her ability to attack fortified districts, just all that much more with her special frigate. So with that, I think she deserves a B. She doesn't deserve an A because she doesn't really have like a special like land unit or anything like that. She really can only attack coastal cities because of the fact that her special unit is naval. But it still is a really good unit, so I think she deserves a B. As far as science goes, I once again think that she deserves a B. The additional adjacency bonuses that campuses are going to receive from rivers is going to help her speed through text just a little bit faster. It's going to be very nice, especially if you can get a lot of campuses around rivers. In addition to that, you also have your industrial zones, which you can put next to rivers to get additional bonuses, which is going to speed up the rate at which you can construct space parts. So I think with all that in mind, she is deserving of a B in science. As far as culture goes, I think she deserves an A in culture, just because of her unique ability that allows her to receive culture from trade routes. So that's going to allow her to really speed through the civics, as well as the adjacency bonuses for theater square. So that's going to help her even more to speed through the civics. She can also get the bonus production from her industrial zone adjacency bonuses, which will help her construct wonders and thus produce some tourism. So I think with all that said, she is going to be relatively deserving of an A in culture. I'm not sure she's definitely not S tier, but I think she is at least A tier. Last but not least, we have religion, and well, in this case, it is least for Wilhelmina, because I think she deserves a C in religion, just because she doesn't really have anything to bolster her religious power. Like, she doesn't have any bonuses for her holy site districts, or like any special religious units, or anything of the sort. But the reason I'm giving her a C instead of something lower is because I think that her general play style is going to be, it's still relatively akin to religion, so maybe you can get a religion that provides you additional culture, something like that. Like, it's not a terrible idea, but I don't think she's going to be going for any religious victories. So with all four of these in mind, I think overall Wilhelmina deserves a B. So she's a pretty solid leader. She's not outstanding in any way, but she is still pretty good, and I think she will be a nice welcome addition to Civilization 6. So, thank you everyone for watching. I have been the Saxy Gamer. I'm going to try to do one of these videos for every one of the new leaders in Civilization 6, and depending on how the series goes, I might do one for every leader in Civilization 6. So, if you like the video, feel free to like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you're looking for more Civilization 6 content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.